Here we are.
That's beautiful. Look at that.
How's it going, man?
Good, man. It's like I feel like we're like this is like a throwback.
Right.
We're like back here, and when you're not going to be here for much longer.
I know, dude.
And we're kind of hanging out here and doing this like old school style.
I know. It reminds me of the back in the Sir days when I would sit here and we would all like kind of start and before the show would get going.
Yeah. The Andy Frisella poster.
Yeah, my MFCEO project poster.
Yep.
But yeah, no. Welcome, guys, to the 11th episode of the Formula Cast.
Yes.
Joined by none other than Supplement Snoop himself. Welcome to the party, man.
It really is, man. It doesn't matter what we're doing. I mean, it's kind of a thing. Like I've said this before. Like how you have like that group of friends that you don't have to go to like Vegas to have like a good time. You can like literally go to some like just shitty like hole in the wall bar and just have a good time. I think that's us. We'll just wherever we
Delaney's.
go.
Well, Delaney's
is pretty high class. Compared to some places we've been, man.
Yeah.
Delaney's is super high class. They got some good bourbon there.
Yeah, and locally owned too. They're great people.
Yeah, we've spent some money there.
yeah. We've also spent some money at level 10. We've dropped some cash there, son, and not even thinking about it.
Yeah, that's what people always talk about. Like, I still don't know that much. Like, I moved here in November.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know that many places in the area. I just know like Delaney's and I know level 10.
But honestly, those are your waypoints, dude.
That's what
that's
saying.
all you need to know.
That's
it's like so how close in proximity is that to Delaney's?
What?
I'm just saying, like, that's your waypoint. Like, your landmark. Yeah,
and I go there. So yeah. So you did something really cool today that I want to talk about.
What was that?
You went on the news.
Oh yeah, it was great.
This local celebrity.
Super awesome event or time going on. A little show called Your Carolina this morning. It's on News Channel 7, and they had me on. I reached out to my friend who is actually she hosts the show, Megan, and my friend Tony G kind of put me in connection with her, but. I was just like, hey, we just opened up in Greenville. I'd love to talk to people about, what makes us a little different than other stores. And they were super supportive and brought me on. So,
nice. So how did that, because what, I think that like we kind of go through this so when you talk to us, like if we have conversations, there's already a level of understanding of the industry and a level of understanding of fitness and supplements. And then when you talk to people that say like, come into your store,
right.
There's a lesser level usually of understanding, but there's at least they have like some idea. Yep. And then you talk to people like probably like you talked to today that just don't have a clue sort of like what's going on. And so it's always like interesting to try to have like different conversations with different levels of understanding. So is that kind of how they were? Were they like totally like clueless about like what you do and stuff?
Well, no, I mean, luckily I'm thankful to, this is my second time being on there. I went on about 2 years ago when we had first started TNS, and it was really brief. It was about 5 to 6 minutes of just kind of explaining. It wasn't very in depth, it was basically like, okay, hey, like, what do you guys do? And so I was like, well, how do I explain that TNS is the best fucking store on the planet in 5 minutes?
You could just say that.
But no, basically I was like, hey, when you come into TNS, this is the experience you're treated with and greeted with. And this is why we do things differently. And I also talked a little bit about proprietary blends. I got to speak on, stubborn body fat a little bit. I actually have some reels that we're going to release on the store page from the interview. Just to kind of go over that, just, to highlight it. And I think it'd be educational for some people. But,
yeah. I always like find that interesting is I think that that's one thing too, that makes people, I was having this conversation earlier in the week. I was like, I definitely know people that are way smarter than me in this space. They know more about biochemistry and they know more about this and that. But if you're not able to articulate that to people and get them to understand, then it's kind of useless to have that information. It's like, if you can't explain it to someone, and then maybe not only just like, okay, we can explain it to this level of person, but can you adjust it in a way that you can, and I know a lot of people, that are extremely smart. They just can't, they're not able to like, I don't want to say dumb it down, but they're not able to start at the beginning because they're so far into it. They forget what it's like to be that person, but I think that you always do a good job with that.
Well, also, and I noticed this, I don't want to go into that tangent. We can off the record we can go into, but I think some of the smartest people have some of the most difficult social skills a lot of times because they have this one way of thinking and viewing the world, and their logical processes don't often connect with regular people.
Yes,
we see that all the time, man. I mean, there's some super geniuses in our space that you come out into a public event or a speaking event and they would
just fall apart.
Yeah. So I think there's a happy balance.
So so it was sort of like I don't want to say like infomercial like in a bad way, but it was basically like an infomercial for like what you do, like boom, 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 and kind of present it to them. Like that.
She actually gave me a little form 2 days ago to fill out, saying like, hey, what kind of questions would you like to be asked? What would you like to talk about? And it was, I had people ask me today at the store, like, did you pay to do that? No, it was free. Like, it was just something that was called Move It Monday is their segment. So it's something fitness related.
Yeah.
And I'm just really grateful to be exposed to, I said this last night on the story. Most people don't watch TV these days, are around like our generation, kind of the younger, more progressive. We watch YouTube. We watch that kind of stuff. But we had a few people over the age of 60 come in today because they were watching us while they're at the gym. So
that's awesome.
It was really cool. So,
well, not only that, but I think that that's usually where there's the stigma that's attached to our space, and it's deserved in a lot of ways. But then you don't understand there's a lot of people that are trying to do things a different way. So I'm sure when people heard you speak, they were like, "Oh, okay, like I can go talk to that guy." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
About whatever my problem kind of is, no matter like what your age.
Yeah, and that's what we want. We want people to feel welcome. Obviously, walking in and seeing someone like myself or a bigger guy can be intimidating, especially for some ladies. And my goal is to, obviously at face value, I'm judged, but I want you to kind of trust me and trust what we do. And the same thing with any kind of business where you're working with people, we have these perceptions of people, and that can be changed. So guys, if you're watching this on Instagram right now, as the pinned comment says that I left, go watch this on YouTube. You can interact more. You can actually see the full frame, Justin's beautiful face, a lot more efficiently, and we can actually keep up with you there. So please,
nice picture.
Yeah. Yes, it's very great quality. Not gonna lie.
If anybody has any questions, fire away.
Exactly.
I didn't spend a lot of time answering questions today. Today was crazy.
Yeah,
for sure. But
what all did you get into, man? Do some consultations, some calls, I'm sure.
So always on Mondays are usually Sundays and Mondays are usually like our busiest days actually, because Sunday is preparation for the week ahead. Right. So we're always catching up with everybody. Like, is everybody good to go for the week, ahead, everything like that. And then, start a business on Monday, even though when you do e-com and things like that, it's basically every day. It doesn't really matter, but still at the same time, there's a routine from your customers that starts on Monday morning. So we always kind of, you get up Monday morning and you're kind of like, do I look at my phone? Because once I look at my phone on Monday morning, I know that's it. I know if I reach for the phone, then I won't stop until I like put it away and put it down. But yeah, we always do. That's the fun part about consulting and things like that, is you just really never know what you're going to get into. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you always know that you're going to be able to figure it out.
Yep.
And that's like one of the fun things about like whenever you're owning your own business and things like that, you just, I don't know, man. It's like you rely on the structure for so long, and then all of a sudden you're like cast out into this like craziness. And then you realize like it's crazy, but you love it. You know what I mean? Because you're like, you never know. There's every single day when you get up, there can be a message that will change the trajectory of what you're doing, like potentially. Like it's pretty fucking cool.
Right.
So yeah, Monday mornings are always. And then like I was telling Jacob, a lot of people have been asking me about. I've been trying to like a lot of new products lately. There is that Ninja company that sent out a bunch of stuff. First of all, the guy that owns that company is great, super nice guy, knows what he's doing. Just always had a dream of having a supplement company and stuff like that. Got some really killer formulas. The pre-workout was really good. It tastes just like a Red Bull, like literally like just like a Red Bull flavor I got. So I took their sleep aid last night, and Man, I am used to some really strong sleep aids, but that thing, yeah, Ninja Zen is the one I took last night. It's got some Phenibut in there, which I'm used to Phenibut. Like, it doesn't, but man,
yeah.
I was like, I could have stayed in bed.
I'm surprised that they're
day.
able to get their hands on Phenibut, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Some manufacturers don't care.
I mean, I respect that and I support it. You know, guys, if you're looking at the screen right now, this is obviously just a screen share. So go check out ninjaup.com. Really cool formulas.
Yeah. Did you try them? Didn't they
no,
send some stuff over?
They haven't. I don't think so. But that they might have, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. We're actually delving into, and I know you're familiar with them, Obvi.
Yeah.
We're actually, you know, I've been keeping my eyes on them for a few years. I mean, I'm really intrigued by their branding. It's very poppy. It's very colorful. And, good, you know, one thing that caught my eye, they sent us an email, which we've been on their email list. They've just been kind of sending emails, and I never signed up for it. So they've been watching us too, which I can get to in a second. But I looked at it this morning, and I sent an email to Isaac and Austin. I was like, hey guys, let's consider this children's protein. And not because kids can't take protein.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's because I know a lot of parents that make chocolate milk for their kids or Nesquik.
Yep.
And there's no nutritive value to it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true.
And so when I looked at this protein, I was like, well, it's fortified with a good amount of, you know, vitamins and minerals. It's a good little like daily meal replacement for a kid.
Yep.
So we're trying it out. They're actually super cool.
Their
rep said that they've been trying to partner with us for a long time. Apparently, they've been watching our videos.
Well, Ron, one of the owners, he's been in the private Facebook group for years.
Yeah,
and he sent over the Entimens. They just did the Entimens collab.
Mm-hmm.
So I posted about that the other day, and then we tried it. It was good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's a problem. We can go down the whole thing with like collabs and stuff like that, but like, you do Entimens, right? It's like you're going after cookie. You're going after cookie.
Well, so is that a protein or is that an actual cookie mix?
So it's just a collagen.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's their collagen. So, you know, if you want to call it some people call it protein. It's not a complete protein, but
yeah,
I think they don't do a lot of crazy stuff like Ghost in their Oreo collab used a lot of like additives to get it to taste like that. So the Obby uses like just sucralose, Ace K, like the normal, like sort of so they don't go like overboard,
right?
You know, with trying to make it so it's, you know, it's not a cookie. You know what I mean?
Well, and the packaging made me think it was like a mix of some kind. But when I saw the picture, I was like, "This is like a cookie mix." Like, you know,
I got what you mean. No, it's literally just like all their other flavors. They do have some killer branding.
Yeah.
And they're a really good example of a company that they essentially, and not that guys don't take Obvi or anything like that, but they essentially said, we're going to go after half of the population just hard as fuck.
Right.
We're going to they built this really cool community, and it's like mostly women, but collagen, you know, women.
Yeah. And that's the reason I'm kind of
hard.
I've been hesitant of them, and it's not because I don't like their branding or their company. It's just we haven't had that gap that needed to be filled. And also, you know, this is not disrespecting them at all, but I do wish that their collagen formulas included like a good source of type 2. But it seems to be 1 in 3, I believe.
Yeah, it's your typical bovine, you know, hair, skin, and nails kind of thing, not so much joint health or anything like that.
Which is fine, you know, that's cool.
They are branching out. They are doing like some different things too. And I know they have a bar, and now they have like a high I didn't look at the formula, but they have like a hydrating drink, RTD kind of style too. They're killing it. Those guys are absolutely killing it. Like, when the first time they sent me a package, I opened it up and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good. Like they're gonna make a fuck ton of money with this."
Let's take a step back, because I'm genuinely curious, and you definitely have more knowledge on this than I do. When it comes to collaborations with larger companies, for example, like Ghost doing the Oreo collab, is that simply a agreement to use their licensing, or is there legitimate flavoring that's being sent to Ghost to use in their product?
So as far as Ghost is concerned, Ghost, the companies that were involved, like Sonic, and were very involved.
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure if everybody's gone down that road. Like, I don't know. Accent Sledge did Icy. I don't know. Like, the only reason why I know about Ghost is because Dan was like upfront about it. He goes, man, they were like, that's why the Sonic stuff tastes so like true to form. He said, but I think it kind of seems like that's the case. Is maybe not everyone is the same. Like some people are more involved, some more hands-on, and I think maybe even that's part of the brand too. Because I think Dan is one of those types of guys that he wants that kind of thing.
I agree.
So they were very like the Oreo protein was very much like they were involved. At least that's the impression I was under.
Right.
Now the collaborations are coming like left and right.
Yeah. No, and I was just curious about that. I didn't know if that means like if it was just the agreement to use the name and the trademark, you know, or if there was actual formulation going on there. I will say I really wish that Ghost would hurry up and go like offer to, you know, retailers, because and the thing is, I'm not even a big proponent of just BCAAs. I think that there should be EAAs as a part of that. But man, they're freaking Sour Patch Kids BCAAs. So I don't even like watermelon, y'all, but I was addicted to it. And I'm talking about this as a store owner that cannot sell that product. So that tells you how much I like it.
They're I mean, you can't take anything away from them. I agree with you too. It's hard because and you know what? You know what's a good thing. So I made the mistake of, or actually the good part, because you know, remember when we took down Fortigen?
Oh God, yeah.
So I was reading some comments on one of their sponsored like Facebook posts.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
And they they're really good at presenting the data and making it sound good. And it's funny because there is a lot of data out there about BCAAs. And then, therefore, EAs. There's lots, but it's in very specific settings. But as I'm reading all this stuff, and these people are asking about, they're pushing the owner of it that we took down to answer these questions. He's doing a very good job. Like it comes across very professional. I can see how people will fall for it. But I'm sitting there and I wanted to comment so bad, and I was like, I just want to know, like, all the scientific studies in the world is great. But why the fuck is yours $100 and some and everybody else's is $30 and they include more stuff in there? So I was like, I didn't even bother. I'm like, forget it. I was gonna let it go. But it's like $100.
It's ridiculous. Well, but also, I mean, he answers the questions great and all, but he kind of dodges the main question.
Oh, absolutely.
Is, why do you claim that this is more effective than protein?
Yes. Yeah.
And I've looked through his comment sections before, and
they're pretty rough.
It is very rough,
but it was kind of funny. But anyway, like the point being that,
but you know, I'm sorry for cutting you off. That video we did, I had to make it unwatchable on YouTube because of the amount of hate we got for it.
I never.
Yeah, people jumped in our comments and were telling us how uneducated, how many steroids I was on, and therefore because I'm on steroids that I don't know exactly what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, Mr. John, whatever his name from, you know, Fortigen, is definitely taking a little bit more than amino acids.
Well, you know, that is kind of part of the deal. So like when you can charge somebody, say we took that formula, because what I was going to ask them is like, okay, if I took that formula to manufacturer, the formula would be like $5 or $6.
Yep.
Right. And then you sell it for 100 and some, right? So what you can do, as everybody in this space knows, you can buy comments, you can buy reviewers, you can pay for people to organically like search your products and then also comment. And you basically it's this system, just like what Herbalife does too, where you just, anytime there's any sort of like negative stuff like that, you deploy this team that you just pay for, and they say like all like this outlandish crazy shit. So I never actually read any of those comments because I know what we said was accurate as fuck. So I don't.
Right.
I don't need to defend.
Yeah, because we got attacked for talking about the usability versus the bioavailability. Apparently, those are two technically different terms.
Yeah. Well,
if you look it up, they're not.
No, it's definitely not.
Bioavailability means how much of the product can you use.
Well, I still just want to know why it's $100 and some for a BCAA product, or like. It is an EAA product, but also is it proprietary? I can't remember.
It most likely is, knowing them.
So we don't even know the exact dosages. Yeah. Anyway, it was
the same guy that makes the X3 bar too.
Yeah, the craziest workout of all time.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
So yeah, I went on there. I went down that rabbit hole. I started reading it. And I'm like, man,
are you okay, man? I mean, is there any like PTSD going on there, or like are you back safely?
Well, sometimes it's like but I think that's kind of it too. Is like you can kind of tell when there's like real people commenting. Like when you read enough, like what we do, when you see enough stuff, you know when something's a legitimate person saying something, and you know when something is sort of being. And that's like, I don't think people understand that that's such a huge thing, especially when it comes to like Amazon and like all kinds of other stuff, is people pay big money to have people go in there and make comments and do reviews and all this other stuff. Like that's a huge, you build that into your margins, you have a fuck ton of margin when you sell a $6 formula for $100.
Yep.
So then you can basically deploy all those people to go in there and like do your dirty work for you.
Oh, the best thing is the fake reviews. Like that I see on these companies' websites where they're selling them, like under their product, they'll have the reviews from customers. And, it's like a company that's been out for less than a year and there's somehow 100 reviews that are all 5-star. And it's hilarious. Same thing with Google reviews, by the way. I see that all the time with local companies that actually pay for Google reviews.
Yeah.
But
I've seen that.
Yeah, I mean,
with some local companies.
Sorry, it's quite obvious, but
not quite local. Yeah, it would just have to be smarter. You know what I mean?
So Alonzo G says sponsor me.
Yeah. That's a way to get done.
Yeah, man, that's hey Blair, what's up? Blair just jumped in. TNS athlete me. Well, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at this from a far away, but I think I'm gonna pick TNS Ellison first. I think he's got you beat, bro. He might have bigger biceps. Not gonna lie. But I don't know your username very well. So if you come by the store a lot, I probably will know you in person. We can talk about any kind of opportunities. But it goes further than just asking for a sponsorship when it comes to being an athlete. So
this is not buffed up.
Well, and also I want to talk about that because the NCAA just opened up the ability for athletes to individually monetize their own selves, right? And when that happened that week, I got easily 50 messages from people wanting sponsorship from TNS.
I bet.
I got messages from people that had never even been in the store. And here's the thing, guys. A sponsorship implies that you have to be bringing something to the table for to gain that, right?
Yeah.
So, just because you're a D1 or a D2 or a D3 athlete, do you have a following? Do you do things, do you do things that can help us grow our brand,
Well, I think the thing with you guys is just look at the people you do sponsor already is it's not necessarily like a following or, not that it's not about what can they do for you, but it's also a culture thing.
Yeah.
Like how do you fit in just on a personal level with everything that you guys do?
Right. And Alonzo G, man, like I said, I don't know you based off the username. So if I saw you in person, I'd probably know you. But thank you for coming by. Thank you for supporting the company.
Yeah. It's always humbling to have people want to be on your team.
It means a lot to us. And I'm not opposed to the idea, but it's one of those things I've been kind of overwhelmed with in the past month because everybody's reaching out asking for it.
Yeah.
Let us kind of re-strategize what direction, like what TNS is. But yeah, let's. You came by a few times last year. Come by at some point soon and let's talk. Maybe we can work out something, man. I'm not definitely writing that off, but also realize the sponsorship from TNS is not a salary. We are by no means a big company, so that's something where.
I think that those days, and not that people don't do that anymore, but those days have kind of gone by the wayside. Like the whole that's another reason why you see so many like bodybuilders and stuff like that. You see them they keep bouncing around and then they start their own line. That's what I think keeps happening is that companies are realizing more and more, especially with like social media and the way you sort of like get out there and can connect with people. they don't necessarily need them in that. They want them. It's more like commission based, where it's like, okay, instead of paying these huge salaries, there's still some companies that do it, but it's like, there's so many people in that space that, I mean, who wouldn't want to like just work out for a living?
Right.
Like,
it's like, and I have a feeling in this situation, I think he's probably a football player at a college somewhere. If I had to guess, like I said, I'm not too familiar with the username. When I think of when we sponsor an athlete, which we're about to actually restructure how we do that. We want to give you product. We want you to represent the brand. Obviously my goal is not for you to push sales, because that's not what we do at TNS. Is we're not salesy,
right?
But we want you to represent the brand well, and then when there's events, we want you to be there. But yeah,
and I think like Blair, that's a good point. I think it's probably also like for those watching over here, Blair is saying sometimes micro influencers seem to be. That's kind of the tough part, especially like when you go on Instagram and things like that. And there's tools to sort of figure these things out. But a lot of people, they buy their followers, they buy likes, they buy comments, all that stuff goes on. So if you don't do your due diligence about someone, it can be very like misleading.
Right.
And then there's there's some people, because we always push a very like, not necessarily like push, but we encourage like a very like structured, well-oiled machine when it comes to ambassador programs with our clients, because it's better than running ads. Like for me, like ads are great, but it's like, if you have people out there being your advertisements, I would rather invest in people to do that for you.
Right.
And when they do it, you sometimes like, you never know, like someone could have 50 or 60 followers, but they have like a lot of respect, maybe at their local gym. Maybe they're just not real big on social media, and they do a lot of their work off camera, and you see like sales coming in there and stuff like that. So you just never really know. It's kind of hard.
And I want to speak on that, but also Alonzo, because he's still commenting in Instagram. Guys, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcast or Spotify or et cetera, or watching on YouTube, we're on Instagram right now as live as well. Man, I just want to say thank you so much for wearing our apparel and supporting us. Definitely by no means am I saying no to any kind of opportunities. I really just appreciate you being here and being a part of the company and the culture. But also, I was talking to somebody the other night.
Just like what Robert said.
I hold word of mouth much higher than ads. Oh, of course. Yeah. I was talking to somebody the other night about this, because we were talking about certain influencers now that we're in Greenville.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, specifically females, that have maybe anywhere from 10 to 20,000 followers on Instagram, maybe a few 100,000 on TikTok, because that's the ratio of equivalence, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people in Greenville specifically that have that number, and some of them carry themselves as if they're genuine celebrities. Others are pretty down to earth.
Yeah.
And the individual I was talking to was like, they really are not like that well known in the area. They just have a lot of followers because they show their body online. Essentially. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Because me personally, I have maybe 4,000 people that follow me, but I guarantee you, if I go into downtown Greenville right now with the person who has 20,000 followers, I'm probably going to run into somebody I know. And I think there's a difference between that and your local community and knowing people and being involved with your local environment versus the online kind of tits and ass show that we have in today's society.
Yeah, we've talked about that at length before, about like number of followers and what does that ultimately mean. It's like it kind of depends on what your goals are. There's a lot of people, you could have 10, 20, 30,000 followers, and if you were to come out with some kind of product, a t-shirt, whatever it is, and no one buy it, because people are only really like following you for the entertainment value, not necessarily any sort of, there's just some stuff where we're consuming entertainment basically, but then there's other people that you're like, okay, they're bringing value to my life outside of just keeping me busy while I'm taking a shit, basically, which is what 99% of the stuff I see. It's like, all right, we're just going to kind of, which there's something to be said for that. I'm not like hating on that, but at the same time, it's like, is that what you want? And is that what you want on your team? Or do you want someone that can actually like, hold some weight and build a community, because that's what you're into, is like, okay, I want to keep growing the community. It's like, well, the type of person that could do that, might not be that person that just has a following to look at people. You know what I mean? It's like, do you look at that person, or do you actually like listen to what they say, and does it kind of like, sink in for you?
Right. Yeah. And, honestly, I feel like a broken record when I talk about community a lot, because I'm always talking about it. Like, I want to build a community. I want to, I want to create something where people come together, and it's almost starting to sound like what our most recent kind of release is, a cult.
The culture.
Yeah. We put the cult in culture.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, and everybody that I like approach with the Upstate Coalition idea is like, they're all about it. They're like, yes, we need this. And so I'm like, okay, well, we must be doing something right. So yeah, I wish people would understand that, because a lot of people that I approach with it, they're like, okay, well, what do you want from me? Like, what's it cost?
Yeah,
what is it?
I think that's kind of like where a lot of people are at anyways. They're immediately on the defensive. And then also on the flip side of that, I see a lot of people, they mean well, but they're overly sensitive to other people being sensitive, right? So you don't want to necessarily like send too many emails. You don't want to send too many messages. You don't want to contact people too much, because you feel like you already know people are like annoyed, right? So, but then they actually need to be, because so much it goes on in your day to day, and you're just like constantly bombarded with all this stuff. It's like you need constant touch points with consumers for them, not to make a sale, but sometimes for them to understand a point. I mean, I can speak to that I do questions every single day, and I mean, sometimes I have to tell the same person like 450,000 times, but then they get it,
right? And
it like sinks in, and then they're good to go. You just never know. Like, some people get it right away, and some people just take some time. But I can usually tell when someone is trying to at least understand. You know what I mean? But I think like sometimes, and I'm guilty of it too, I don't want to like keep over promoting something, because it's like, people, but at the same time, I don't even know if you can do that anymore, like over promote anything.
Right. No, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's in business, there's the term, ABP, always be promoting. And that is, always be closing is the sales term for it. But I think that if you're a business owner and you think, and this is just the way I see it, if you're a small business owner and you are arrogant enough to think that your own personal social media outlet is separate from your company and your brand that you're trying to create, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. That's a whole side tangent I do not need to go down into, because it'll make me aggressive. But
well, then I mean, I feel like we should do that then.
Well, there's just so many people who are like, oh, I keep work and life separate. I keep my business over here, and I keep my life here, and this is my life.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, but if you're delving into the path of entrepreneurship, you're accepting that your life is an extension of your business, or vice versa. And
it's hard to have a private side when you're. If you want to connect with people in a certain way, it's hard to have a private side.
Right, and I'm so big on the concept of like having a personal brand, because of that. I think a lot of people, like, you'll see their business page, right, and they're known in their hometown. They'll post nonstop, good stuff, good pictures, good promotion. But then on their personal side, it's like their life, their family. It has nothing to do with their company. If you follow them, and you cannot like find at least once a week a reason to go look at their brand, like what? Like I don't know. I feel like that's a missing link personally.
Yeah, and I think like that's one because I've had people say that to me before, because I have like I can talk about a lot of subjects outside of supplements, and I remember like people saying to me, "Oh, you should start your own personal account and like talk about like other things on there." And I'm like, I said and I understand that for like a lot of people that to keep them kind of separate, especially when you're selling products. I was like, but at the same time, I said like, it's dangerous to make like yourself and your personality so much part of your business, because it's like there has to be some separation in a way. Yeah. But at the same time, like I'm like, I don't ever want there to be something that I can't talk about, or I feel I can't talk about on my business page,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so that I would have to have, like, I feel like I can talk about whatever
I mean,
want.
I see your business page as you. Like, I mean, Supplement
Right,
Snoop
right.
is a brand that is Justin Hall in a way.
Yeah.
And like the way I see it with my own like account versus like the nutrition store, I think I try to post relentless content on the TNS page.
Yeah.
I'm very selective about what I post on my personal page,
Mhm.
and usually it's long-winded. I try to type out something very insightful and something that I'm feeling like
Yeah.
in my heart.
Yeah.
And
But I think it's like,
you know,
they work together.
yeah, because it's usually synonymous. You know, it's like, hey, this is
Yeah.
what I'm going through. Like, this is
Yeah.
what I believe in. This is my company. This is why I'm doing it.
I think that's a really good point, and it's a good way to sort of look at it, because you have, so TNS is, it's a product based, you know, interaction. So it's like, okay, we're going to give you some really fun stuff, and we're going to do some cool things here and there. If you want to know more personally, then go to my personal page, and I'm going to talk more there about it. I'm going to elaborate, but so you kind of have like the best of both worlds kind of going on at the same time. Because I remember there was a time, like, I remember you saying like you wanted to keep them like totally separate,
right?
But then you realize you're like, that's not really feasible.
Well, and the thing is, like, my personal brand that like Jacob Davis, the personal brand. Let's just say, you know, God forbid, tomorrow TNS goes out of business, right? Well, the stuff that TNS CEO posts is still like on brand with what I'm doing. It's still me, and it is me. You know, just because it relates to TNS, just because it is like business oriented, does not mean it's not me coming from the heart. But yeah. So
no, I get that. That's all. No, it makes sense. Yeah, there is no kind of like, because people would connect the dots anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're doing stuff on your personal page that's maybe the opposite of what's on your brand page, I mean, people are gonna. It doesn't take much.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Someone say sleep aid. I did miss that comment from Austin.
Oh yeah, Austin said someone say sleep aid. I actually sent the link to the Ninja Up products to the boss group so that they can look at it.
Yeah, I don't know if Austin, if you've looked at they're pretty cool.
Yeah, we've seen,
bad.
or I know I've seen them come across my email list at some point. Which I do not know how I've gotten on every single supplement company's email list. But yeah, I've seen them come across my inbox. And yeah, I haven't really even looked at their formulas, I'm not going to lie, until now.
Yeah, it's nothing revolutionary, but you know, what is, I guess, anymore there. It's good stuff. I tried the protein. It was all right. But I tried the birthday cake one, which is I've never found a birthday cake protein that I really liked.
Yeah.
And this one, like, it had like inclusions in it, but it had like all the sprinkles in it, and they just all went right down to the bottom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, all right, that doesn't really do anything.
What do you think about the Freedom Fetty by NutraBio?
It's awesome.
That is, honestly, that's
so good.
It's not even a birthday cake flavor. I see that as like a I always tell my customers it's a creamy cotton candy.
Yeah.
And
that one is good.
That is the best tasting, like, I guess, like birthday cake Freedom flavor that I've had in a protein. But that's just me. Like I said, Justin, you've tried a lot more brands than me. You've had a lot of other things.
No, I think that
it's very unique. I will say,
yeah, and it's in the muscle matrix too.
Yes, I won't take it in the. Is it in the isolate?
I don't think so.
No,
I think
muscle.
It's just on the
muscle matrix are maybe at TNS.
And the muscle matrix is the casein blended.
Yeah, 45% casein, 55% whey. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I just sent somebody your way today for the pollen caramel macchiato.
Oh, yeah. We got plenty of it at HQ and Greenville.
Nice.
Yeah. And we're proud to say that HQ will have all of the Muscle Sport Lean Whey products there, hopefully by the end of the week. Good. Well, the ones that are in stock. But Austin's been asking me for the past like 2 or 3 weeks. He's like, can I order it now? And I'm like, no, we're not sold out of this. Like, we can't move it. So yeah, very excited for that.
So they what about because they have a collagen
Muscle Sport?
Yeah.
Well,
it's the For Her series, but I definitely use it. So they have some collagen peptides They add a couple things to it, biotin and something else. The name is, I can't remember. Yeah. So we tried the strawberry shortcake.
Oop, sorry. I don't know why it always goes home. Okay.
So we tried strawberry shortcake, we tried fruity cereal, and we tried lean charms. And they were all banging. This one in particular, the strawberry shortcake one, it's so fucking good.
Is it really?
It's so good. But there's a little bit different. If you go to the supplement facts, there's something else that I'm forgetting that's in there. Maybe it's just the biotin and vitamin C. So there's a couple things that you can do with collagen to sort of help with synthesis of it. Vitamin C is one, biotin's another one. So that kind of works together with the collagen. So it's a couple little tiny additions to it that.
So tell me, with the lean charms, did you try that one?
Oh yeah.
Was there marshmallows in there?
So they're kind of like really like finely ground up.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can see them like it's in there.
Yeah.
But it's not like their protein where it's like big marshmallows.
I'm curious about the
good.
Why the Protella is the Revolution and everything else is the Her series, but yeah. Ready for the shake store. Well, we have. I'm guessing you're talking about the smoothies.
The smoothie store.
Yeah, TN Smoothies has actually been up and running since Friday at Spartanburg. We've had it for about 2 months in Greenville. Mm-hmm. So yeah, come by and check it out, man. We've got awesome flavors. We've got custom flavors. So we'd love to make you a smoothie and make it macro friendly.
So what do you have? Like, is it, because I haven't actually got one yet. Is it, you just have like a certain menu, or is it basically totally customizable?
It's very customizable. Nice. We have a specific menu of about 8 or 9 different like
pre-made ones.
Yeah, like very recipe oriented. Mm-hmm. But if you want anything, we can make it happen. Yeah. And the thing is, unlike most like smoothie bars, we don't have one set of protein that we use for, and then we add flavors into it. Mm-hmm. Literally, if you want a certain protein, like a certain flavor, we're going to make it happen. I don't care if I have to open up a tub of something that you want in the store. We're going to make it happen. And we did that with a lot of the lean whey in Greenville. Like the Fluffernutter flavor. Since I started talking about that, oh my God. Like people have been coming into Spartanburg and being like, hey, do you have Fluffernutter? Like, can I make a smoothie with that? I'm like, damn it, like I don't have it here yet, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. We're gonna make it however you guys want it, and we're gonna also make sure that it meets your macros. My guys are very, very well trained on looking at labels and making sure it meets what you're looking for. So
yeah, because there's a depending on the time of day and depending on when you're working out and stuff like that, there's different things you want to do with it. I usually, because I kind of go with the whole, like I'll add collagen to my protein, right? Because you get like some extra glycine. Like that's one thing about, so collagen, why I don't really care for. It's not that it's wrong to add a protein content to collagen, but I would not count that for my protein macros. If I'm doing something very specific, when it comes to like muscle building and stuff like that, I wouldn't count collagen peptides as grams of protein. But I kind of like how they sort of interact with whey protein, where whey protein is going to be much higher in BCAAs than collagen, but then the collagen has a really like robust amount of glycine, which, you know, glycine, especially post-workout, glycine is really cool. It's a very like de-stressing kind of amino acid. So it has it like in really high content in there. So I kind of like mixing those kind of two together after like a really intense workout and kind of promoting that whole recovery and calming kind of thing going on.
Which brings up
they're killer, man.
Well, and the only reason I thought of this because of what you just said, you want to combine protein with, you know, your collagen, which they really did appeal to. Their specific audience there.
Yeah, they nailed it. I mean, like I said, they went for one group of people and went super hard.
But I was looking for their protein, the actual whey that they have, which I'm not sure. Let's see. They have a
they have like a fat burning type product, which is perfect for their audience.
I'm looking for their whey. They have a whey that is infused with collagen, and that is exactly right there. Yeah.
That's like the Ninja one. The Ninja also has collagen infused in it, and Fresh Chris does too. Right?
Fresh Chris, yeah.
I will say,
does Fresh Chris have any in stock though?
I don't know, but I think we'll give Chris the benefit of the doubt. I think Chris was the first one to add collagen to his protein.
Well, if you ain't first, you're last.
That's right.
You know. But yeah, so this is a little look at kind of what they're looking at here. Protein 20 grams with infusions of obviously vitamins and minerals. So very We're actually sorry I got dull there. Like Isaac said, Fresh Chris with a sad face. We've been waiting on Fresh Chris for ever. Yeah,
it's a really rough time in the industry, especially where he manufactures. They're super. I mean, we know them over there. They're great guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah,
nightmare, especially when it comes to protein.
And yeah, which that's off. We can talk about that off record. I don't know. I feel like with their recent collaborations of companies, they would kind of increase their production, rate. But who knows? Anyway, it's probably about time to kind of summarize it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to get your hands on Inspired Protein. Well, we can hit up Fresh Chris.
Yeah.
Whenever you want.
Yeah. I did talk to him today. I haven't done a live with him.
When's happy hour coming back, man?
I asked him about this Friday, but he didn't get back to me yet. So.
Well, the Fresh Chris kind of do be busy.
I love that guy.
Love me some Chris Waldron. Anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Formula. This is the 11th episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker,
all the things,
Google Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram. What's your Instagram?
At Supplement Snoop, and our business consulting Instagram is at Scale Your Subs.
That is exactly right. So guys, appreciate you watching. Thank you guys so much, and have a great night.